You will.
Oh, I know, but it just gets so sick and tired.
Time. It's time.
Ugh. All right, so here we go. We are all here, and hopefully I won't sound hot this week, meaning distortion, not hot, hot. um, not anything else. So, I know, I'm going to leave that in, too, just so people get a little laugh out of it. All right, mute yourselves, please.
Shall we mute ourselves?
Oh, while I take a final drink. And here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Hello? Are you ready? Yes. Then we'll begin.
We're just rounding the corner, and we're beginning to see that 100th episode in the distance, but we're not there yet. We have plenty to do. So get ready. Here is Monday Morning Catholic Podcast, episode number 93.
6:30 Monday morning. I'm here hiding in my bed. A song plays on my alarm clock as I cover up my head. Somewhere in the distance, I remember yesterday singing hallelujah.
I've been covering up my head for 2 weeks, and I still haven't gotten rid of this darn whatever it is. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Monday Morning Catholic Podcast. I am your host and still kind of sick moderator, Joanne Mercier, Director of Faith Formation at St. Martha and Mary in Lakeville, Massachusetts. Really hoping that none of you get this creepy crud, because it is definitely creepy and cruddy. But as you can see, if you are watching our podcast, 2 of our 3 have made it, so we're kind of happy for that. First of all, as we await the possible ascension of our 3rd member of the panel, we have Linda Reed from St. Thomas in Providence, Rhode Island, our great music director. Good morning, Linda. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine.
Good, because I haven't gotten near her, so she's not going to get the creepy crud.
Yes, we do not want the creepy crud.
Another great musician over on the other part of the state, Nancy Smith, St. Teresa, St. Christopher's in Tiverton, Rhode Island. Good morning, Nance. How you doing?
Good morning, Joanne. I'm fine. How is everybody? Good morning, Linda.
Hello.
Well, it's the creepy crudness that when we had the concert last week, I made sure I didn't get near anybody. Kind of sat off by myself, and still dealing with it 2 weeks later. They, did throw culture. Still haven't heard back from them yet. I hate to say no news is good news.
Which you hope.
Which I hope, but still feeling like I live in a, with the old fishbowl over my type of feeling. So, and it's got very tiring the last week trying to do my normal 50 hours of Generations of Faith fun and fun. Yeah, try it with a cold, or try it with whatever this is.
Whatever this is, yeah.
But all I kept saying all week was, I'm not as bad as some people. There were other people in the world way worse than me. I was offering it up for everybody. And
that's right.
So
think of all the people you got out of purgatory this week.
Oh, gee, I hope so. And someday I hope someone else returns the favor.
That's right.
That's the way it is in the Catholic realm, ladies and gentlemen. We get each other out of purgatory.
Yes.
There you go. Here we are, and we're back again for another week. We're kind of hoping Stephen makes it. He was kind of late getting home, and he's the last one of all of us that has liturgy. Because, of course, even though this is Monday morning, we record on Sunday. So everybody's still trying to get back from church.
Right.
And so he's running a tad late. We hope we get to see him. If not, we'll have to wait till next week, which is a feast day next week.
Woo-hoo.
Yes, it's a solemnity. But until then, we have the 30th Sunday of Ordinary Time. And as you know, the reason why we do this every week is so we can look at the previous weekend's liturgies and try to make some sense out of it all through the homilies, mostly because we like to share them with everybody, the ones that we hear, the ones that we read, and then all the other things that could be going on. There were some special occasion masses going on this weekend that we'll probably talk about. And then, of course, our Voice of the People this week was very interesting, folks. 977 shares of
Wow.
and I really tried to have the person it involved on our podcast this week, but unfortunately, she couldn't make it either. So, it's one of these things where we've had no luck, but we're still going. And we're rounding to 100.
Woohoo!
We're at 93 this week. We should be making 100 somewhere in December.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah. Not me.
Who would have thunk?
Who would have
I
thought
never
that?
thought we were going to make this. I didn't think we were going to make 50.
Yay!
I mean, by right, we've probably done more than 100 when we get to 100 because we've had specials.
Yes, you've had
But
special.
I don't count the specials because not all of them were on Sundays
Yeah.
or have to do with Sunday mornings. So that's why they're not counted. So those of you who are being persnickety, yeah, we probably reached 100 already. But those of you who are counting the actual episodes
Yeah.
number, this is 93. And somewhere in December we will do 100. And we've got to start thinking of what we want to do for 100.
Oh.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
it'd be nice if we were all here, for one thing.
Hey, and there you go.
That would be good.
Well, what we can do is try to do this ahead of time.
Yes.
Make sure everybody knows it's the 100th show. Try to get back some of our favorite friends to come and be with us.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe Allison and Jason might be able to make it that day. It might have to be a different time to record it.
Might have to do that, yes.
Might have to.
Now,
Which can help
7 weeks, that puts us somewhere in Advent, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yes,
Okay.
I think so.
Actually, I can probably tell you where it puts us if I take
Yeah,
a
if
You
I
can even
thought
go to
about
a
it for a
calendar if you
minute.
want.
True. That's exactly where I'm going to right now. I'm flipping
Okay, I'll let you go then.
Okay. Hold on. As we flip
I'm
here.
holding.
No, you're not. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It puts us, I think, at the third Sunday of Advent.
Okay.
Which
right.
is an absolutely apropos.
We can do Gaudete. Our Gaudete.
We can do Gaudete Sunday, 100th episode. That would work.
Yeah.
We actually started on the first Sunday of Advent, so that absolutely makes sense.
Yes.
So let's see if we can get our friends to come. We're all here. And if you've got any suggestions as to how we could celebrate our 100th episode, please send them along. Maybe you liked something we did. Maybe you thought something was absolutely outrageous that you'd like us to bring back. Because I'll tell you right now, even though we've done 93 some odd episodes, I don't remember all of the foolishness.
No.
So if
Mercifully.
What foolishness.
yeah, lots of foolishness.
Not foolishness here. We're always on the
No
rails.
foolishness here, yes. Mm.
So if you remember anything that you liked that we did and might want to hear it over, that's the only way I'm going to know. If you tell me, then I'll go find it. But you have to tell me the episode.
Yeah, right. Like, who's going to remember that?
Right, exactly. Well, there are some people who have started later and are trying to listen to every single episode, which I give them a lot of credit for.
Yeah, I do too.
Exactly.
God bless you.
So if you want to hear anything, if you'd like to hear something specifically from us or any of our friends that have been on, let me know. Just, you know where to go, and I'll tell you again if you don't. You're going to send us an email at mondaymorningcatholic@gmail.com. You could put it up on the website, mondaymorningcatholic.net. We have a lovely little comment box that very, very rarely gets used. Facebook.com/mondaymorningcatholic. You can put it up on the section where we allow visitor comments. Just let us know. We put it there, and we will take a look at it. I know some people have been trying to leave us comments on YouTube. YouTube comments for me, if you're watching the show, sometimes let's put it this way, I have more of the trolls on YouTube. And I'm considering strenuously of closing that comment box down.
Oh.
So, yeah, because we're getting trolled by, and I hate to say this, Orthodox Catholics who are leaving us tracts.
Oh, geez.
Right. So every week I'm having to clean it out. So I just might close up the comments there.
Jeez.
Because I think it's not worth it.
No.
You know, I as much as I like YouTube and as much as I like, you know, being very transparent and open in a lot of different places, it takes a lot for me to have to, you know, keep banning people.
Yeah.
I'm at the point where YouTube is not the best place to leave us a comment, so please don't do that. But
do Facebook.
Yeah, do Facebook. If you want to leave us good reviews, then we'd love it if you'd go to iTunes.
Yeah.
Because that puts us up in the standings. If people are looking for Catholic podcasts and you've rated us well, then we come up to the forefront. And also for those of you who use the Overcast app, okay, if you use the Overcast app on iOS, and I believe on it's this one right here, okay, if you use the Overcast app, okay, right here, there's the Overcast app. Okay. It's a podcast. It's basically an app for podcasts.
Oh, okay.
When you hit the little I circle, you can do three things. You can play, you can recommend to others, or you could share with somebody. There you go. Try to do one of those things.
Okay. I see it.
Lovely. If you use the Overcast app, and I've used Overcast for a while because I can put all my podcasts into playlists like you do with music.
Oh.
Like, say, I listen to different types of podcasts, tech, Catholic. That's probably it, tech and Catholic. So I can separate them. And then I can just, you know, if I feel like listening to all Catholic podcasts, I can. If I feel like listening to all tech podcasts, I can. So it's not a bad little app. It's free now. It wasn't free before. It's now free. It was like $99 or something. But it's a very robust little app.
Huh.
Now that I've done the technology portion of this,
Check.
which I hadn't planned on.
Overcast.
Yeah, I hadn't planned on doing that. But, you know, there is one more way you can get a hold of us. You can call us on the voice feedback line, 774-955-0659. Some people keep trying to call it, and if you're not able to leave a message, let me know so I can know something's wrong, because people are calling it, but they're not leaving a message. So I don't know if there's a problem with the Google Voice app or the Google Voice service or what. So leave a message, just for the heck of it. Say, hello, we like your show. That way at least I know the darn thing's working. But those are the ways you can get to us. So we'd love to hear about anything you might want to hear us talk about on the 100th episode. But guess what, gang? We have feedback.
Yay! Someone had pity on us.
That too. Okay, so our feedback is from an old friend, John in Yakima.
Hey, John.
John in Yakima also, you know, in the beginning of his feedback, congratulated us for the concert, which we're still all sort of basking in the glow.
In the glow, yes. I did almost exclusively this morning. The songs from that trio.
Oh dear. Okay.
Almost.
I wasn't there. I didn't get to hear that kind of.
You had to work.
Yeah. But he did give us a little bit of feedback on last week's homilies, and last week's scriptures. So he says that his pastor was on vacation last weekend. You know, the 80-year-old guy or something.
Oh, geez.
50 years, and it was much deserved because he was alone in the parish for the month of September.
Oh my gosh.
Associate, of course, the new guy on the block, ended up with 7 masses. That's really rough.
That's crazy.
That's too much.
No,
Too much.
That really is. The bishop said the 11 a.m. and the 7 p.m.
Wow.
So the associate did get a little bit of a break.
Jeez.
Good thing. He
So there's
focused,
9 masses a weekend?
yeah. If it's a
Wow.
cathedral parish, and it's
cathedral. Okay.
yeah, it's a cathedral parish. Remember, in
I
Yakima.
forgot that.
So
Wow.
they have a Spanish population too.
Oh jeez.
You know. So the associate got a break. So he focused on the gospel in his homily, which ran closer to 15 minutes than 10. We're already clocking. We're clocking the associate. Okay, clocking the associate now. He hasn't only been there a week, or maybe less. But however he goes on, I cannot do justice to his outstanding message.
Oh.
So there
Nice.
you guys.
Nice.
All right, so that's good news. Let's see. James and John were thinking as part of the human kingdom, not as John thinks. Abraham and Eve were tempted to get out from under the required obedience or God's command. When we become disconnected from God, we sin, build our own human kingdom, we get lost. God is the source of energy for our souls, the gift of the Holy Spirit. In his 3 years as a priest in other parishes, he has noticed some people that are part of a larger group that put on fundraising events want to be recognized individually by name.
Uh-huh.
The same kind of desire illustrated by James and John.
Yeah.
You know, nobody brought that up last week,
Yeah.
but that is basically the...
Probably because it's too close to home.
Yeah.
Maybe.
For me, anyway. For my parishes.
Yeah, maybe, because I'm surprised. You know, that is one of the things. Especially most Catholic parishes, if you take a look at things, always have these little plaques on them.
Yes.
Or ciboriums in the old days would have engraving on them.
Donated by.
Donated by.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I do know people who have donated things who would just donate it in somebody's name,
Yeah.
but not put their own.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a much more classy way of doing things.
Yeah.
Because we're not supposed to be. But there you go. James and John wanted the seats of honor.
Even the disciples couldn't resist.
No, apparently. That darn original sin.
Yeah.
So that's the thoughts that he took away from last week's homily. Well, John, thank you so much for sending those along to us. We appreciate that, trust me. And
Thank you, John.
God, and thank God he did bring up the fundraising event one, because
Yeah.
now we don't get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
He brought
Hey, it's not a
We
question
experience it.
It's not a question of getting in trouble for it. It's
That's
a
true.
question of recognizing it, and if it's a problem for you, fix it.
Yep, exactly.
And that piece is easier said than done. And I'll
Yes,
talk
it
to you
is.
off air.
Oh. Okay. All right. So, excuse me, I'm still in the coughing phase
That's okay.
of all of this. So, then let's move on to what we all came here to do.
Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear for the 30th Sunday in ordinary time? Yikes.
Yikes is right.
Next week is a solemnity. Next week is the Feast of All Saints. So when we come back, it'll be the week after. It'll be the 32nd.
32nd, and then the 33rd, and then Christ the King. Ah!
Oh my! This year is just flying by.
Woo!
Wow. But we have the 30th Sunday in ordinary time, and we heard this weekend from the book of the prophet Jeremiah. No, not the bullfrog.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't have that clip.
But
And
he's such a good friend.
I know. He had good wine too. Anyway, we all have to start. I do have to get that clip because
Yeah.
once in a while
Because
Especially-
Jeremiah does crop up occasionally.
especially since next month at Generations we're doing prophets.
Okay, there you
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Actually have to have that for next month. But Jeremiah is speaking to the Israelites and reminding them that it is the Lord, their Father, who has led them out of exile. Because, of course, he's talking to those who have been in exile and reminding them of who got them out of it in the first place. So that's where Jeremiah's bent is this week, reminding that the Lord, of course, we run right into the Psalm of 126, the Lord has done great things for us, we are filled with joy. Which I really like the Gimon Psalms. The Gimon for this week was really, really nice. This is my last week of subbing, and I miss doing those.
Oh, that's nice.
They're like I've said before, they're very melodic for the assembly, and then for the cantor, the harmonies behind the very simple chants are just pretty.
Yeah.
They're not like, they're not any of that stuff. So I really, really enjoy them.
Good.
What did we do this weekend at St. Thomas?
It's at I used another piece. I used a psalm setting from the Lyric Psalter, and it happened to be composed by Tony Alonso.
Okay,
It was very nice. It had a kind of that minory Middle Eastern feel to it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Oh, cool.
It was very nice. A lot of A minor, E minor. It had that kind of Middle Eastern feel to it. I liked it a lot.
Now, those of you who aren't musicians, don't go to sleep.
Sorry to get technical.
That's okay. I just have to remind people who are not musicians when we start throwing out A minor, E minor.
They're chords, folks.
They're chords. Those things we play, that kind of accompany. They're chords.
Yes.
I wish I had something for that, too. That's another one of those things. Well, no, you could actually use.
And now for something completely different.
That could work. And Nancy, you're still using the Common Psalm?
I am. I used the same as last week. I'm trying to. I've been teaching them the Lord is Kind and Merciful 103 sporadically this past fall, and just trying to slowly build their repertoire up. They don't pick things up as quickly as some parishes, so repetition is our best friend on that level.
But that's good.
So that'll change next week, obviously, with the solemnity and such.
That's the way to build it, Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That's the way to build it.
So. Yep.
It is. That's what we've been trying to tell Stephen the last couple of months.
And I had a wonderful. I'll give a shout out to my college student accompanist, Andrea. I won't say her last name. That's not fair. But she's out. She left us this past fall for college, and she was back this weekend. And so she played at the 5 o'clock mass last night with me, and it was such a pleasure to see her.
Nice.
She does such a phenomenal job. She's an excellent musician, and so it was very good to see her. And she's continuing her working with the liturgical music where she's at, so that's great to hear as well. And
we like that.
That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Like
so
that. There are so few behind us.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
You're doing your bit to train for the future.
That's right. Yep. Exactly.
God knows that I love my music.
It's really
you know what I
really sad to know that song. So. But anyway, Hebrews 5. We're into chapter 5 of the book of the letter to the Hebrews, and again, we're still talking about where the high priest comes from, and it's so important that the writer of Hebrews really kind of cements this whole thing for the Jews of the first century, so that they can understand who the Christ is. So the writer goes on and on, trying to show him as the high priest.
Yeah.
And as as the one who stands in that position, that we no longer need one. That it's pretty radical though for the Jews of that time, but it's you're going to keep hearing it as continue in Hebrews. And then we're in 10th chapter of Mark for the story of Bartimaeus. Good old Bartimaeus.
Good old Bartimaeus.
What did yeah, I love Jesus. What would you ask of me? Like he didn't know. Like of course he knew what he wanted. Of course, the man was blind. What do you think he wants?
Well, it's kind of interesting parallel between this week and last week.
Very
because Jesus said the same thing to his disciples. What is it you want of me?
Very true.
And then he says that to the blind man today. What is it you want of me? So
he's always asking questions, even though he knows the answer. He's
letting people articulate their prayers, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So we have 2.5 or 2. So,
2 homilies and a homilette.
Okay. So, and we've had celebrations at masses this weekend, at least in 2 places. Well, and I guess in all 3 because mine is, a monthly.
Generations of faith, yeah.
So, who would like to go first?
Well, we'll get the nutshell out of the way first.
Stop.
The homilette.
The homilette.
All right.
To go back for just a split second about the psalm, it worked well because the psalm that I used is also a psalm used during weddings. And, we celebrated, we blessed a marriage that was the actual anniversary date, 50 years at Saturday's Vigil Mass.
Well,
and so it's kind of neat to have the psalm. Yeah. And they were extremely pleased. They were, it was a beautiful witness to all of us. But anyway, so basically I didn't get too much of a homily from that Mass because he was talking a lot about the marriage and that type of commitment and such. So I watched the TV Mass today, and it was truly a nutshell homily talking about Bartimaeus, and his example was to go out and always take the opportunity that's presented to you to meet people. You never know what God has in store for you through these folks and things like this. Don't be blind to the people that are right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And basically that was it. He gave his example of his own experience of a man that he might not have paid a second look to, except that the man was crying when he saw him the first time. So that made him pay more attention, and now he's a friend and a very faith-filled person from the beginning, and somebody well worth knowing. Of course, we all are well worth knowing. It's just, are we going to take the time to know that person that might not to anybody? And so basically it was, are we going to step forward in faith to meet the people that are put in our paths for reasons?
Oh, wow.
That's an interesting. Yeah.
So truly it was a nutshell version, but I think it was simple, but it was strong. So
yeah.
And of course, when you're trying to do also a 50th anniversary tie-in, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
So I give him credit for rolling it in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Because then there are those who will just stop and say, okay, now we're going to do a 50th anniversary. I like it when you roll into it. And apparently St. Thomas had another one of those too.
Yes, we did. And it happened to be a couple that she sings in the ensemble with me. And Ray is just our faithful companion. They both are funeral acolytes. So they serve at the funerals in the parish. But anyway, it was their 50th anniversary, and what they did was they renewed their vows, and they were mentioned in the homily, but the homily wasn't built around it. So here was the homily. Okay, he starts out. When I was in high school, he says, it was mandatory to read the book The Miracle Worker, the story about the blind girl Helen Keller and her determined teacher Annie Sullivan. There's a wonderful quote that is attributed to Helen Keller when she was once asked if there was anything worse than being blind. And she replied, yes, having no vision.
Ooh.
Having vision and having sight are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
If we have been paying attention the last few weeks, the apostles have been arguing about who is the greatest. Last week, James and John wanted seats of privileges, and yet it is a blind beggar who has the vision to know that this miracle worker, Jesus, is the Son of David, that he is the Messiah. What is also interesting is the moment he is able to see, he does not return to his old life. He said many times when Jesus has cured people, we have no idea what happens to them afterwards. But with Bartimaeus, we are told he got up with his new gift of sight and followed Jesus. So evidently he put his money where his mouth was. He became a disciple of Jesus, and he wanted to share Jesus' vision of the kingdom of justice for all people. Bartimaeus realized that he could not stay in the same place that he had been, blind. But now he had the vision of the one who cured him, and the only alternative for Bartimaeus was to follow Jesus, to hear the words of eternal life. The challenge for us is to understand that we need to follow Jesus and his vision of a world of justice, peace, and hope for all people. It means that we have to remove the blindness that we often share, that of judging others based on age, sex, race. We have to remove the blindness of indifference, of not caring about others and just focusing on ourselves. We have to see with the eyes of faith. We have to challenge ourselves to try and see others as God sees them. We all know this is easier said than done, but we need to follow that vision. We need to keep that vision before us that Jesus has and follow him the same way Bartimaeus did. New paragraph. There's one little item that Mark finds necessary to mention about Bartimaeus, and that is when Jesus calls him. The first thing Bartimaeus does is throws aside his cloak. Now, you don't think that that's anything, it's like just get it out of the way, but he said a beggar's cloak was probably his only possession, and it kept the sun off his head in the day, and he wrapped himself in it at night. But he was so anxious to follow Christ that he threw aside his old life in the symbolized by the cloak and followed Jesus. That was what I just said. It was his most important possession. What do we need to throw aside so that we can truly see with eyes of faith the vision that Jesus has for us?
Wow. That minor thing is a new one for me.
Yeah, the throwing aside of the cloak.
Yeah, because I was more dwelling on, because I've read before in certain places that does this kind of discerning of gospels.
Yeah.
When Jesus calls someone, or when in Scripture a name is mentioned, there is a reason, because there's a lot of people who are mentioned in the Gospels, but they have no name.
No names. Yeah.
But he is specifically mentioned as Bartimaeus, son of
Timaeus. Yeah.
Timaeus.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's either somebody that everybody knows, that was prominent,
yeah,
or somebody that Jesus is calling out for a reason.
Yeah. And there's another interesting parallel there. Bartimaeus means son of Timaeus, and what does he call Jesus? Son of David.
Right.
So you've got the two titles there.
Mm-hmm.
The petitioner and the one being petitioned. So
exactly.
It's cool.
Yes, these little biblical things
yes.
that we just like to pick up and throw.
Well, it's kind of easy for me because I live with
a biblical scholar. Yeah. And I studied Bible on both sides of the Christian equation. So,
yeah.
Yeah, so we just and we're studying Bible this year, so
Oh, that's good.
I'm in the middle of it right now, where I'm
Yes.
just trying to call up everything I know. Okay, well that's
Okay. How about yours?
I liked that point of view. Now here's a really different point of view.
Okay.
This homily comes from, even though my pastor did a wonderful job this morning trying to consolidate Bartimaeus and our theme from this past month, which was God keeps his promises. We talked about so he was able to really make a connection there. But it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
And I give him a lot of credit for doing it. But I wanted to have something that was really for this Sunday. So when I got up this morning and I was reading my morning offering from our friend, the Concord pastor, Father Austin Fleming, he had attached this homily for us to read. It's from Deacon Greg Kandra.
Mm-hmm.
In the Diocese of Brooklyn, New York. And I believe he was either an editor or worked in television for a while. He writes wonderfully. So this is his homily for the past weekend. Last week, as I was walking home from work, heading up 3rd Avenue, I saw something you often see in New York. A woman sitting on the sidewalk with a cup asking for money. She was young, I'd guess in her early 30s. She didn't look like someone I'd think of as homeless or destitute. She was clean, well-dressed, reading a newspaper. As I got closer, I noticed a cardboard sign in front of her. Scrawled on the sign were 3 simple words. Her sign said, "Need a miracle." I was running late and it was getting dark and I had to head home, so I moved on. But in the days after, the more I thought about it, the more those words kept coming back to me. I wanted to talk to the woman and hear her story. Every day I passed the spot where she had been sitting and looked for her, but she was gone. Maybe she ended up getting her miracle. I may never know. But in the middle of an otherwise unremarkable autumn evening, I encountered someone I hadn't expected to see that day. I saw Bartimaeus. I suspect you've seen him too, and not just begging on a sidewalk. You may spot him regularly in Key Food, or in line at the bank, or in a cubicle next to you at work. You may even have seen him this morning when you looked in the mirror. The fact is, we all are in some way Bartimaeus. We are all weak or wounded, begging for God's mercy. And so often we are, in one way or another, blind. We may be blinded by sin, by pride, by ambition, by selfishness. We may not see clearly or think clearly because of a grudge. We may be lost in a fog of dependency or addiction, or the relentless ache of a broken heart. We may have given in to darkness. People may have marginalized us or pushed us aside, and we can only sit on the ground and look up at a world looking down as it hurries past. And we sit there, our heads lowered and our hearts heavy, with just one thought on our minds. I need a miracle. Son of David, have pity on me. What can we do? We just celebrated the feast of Pope St. John Paul on Thursday. His consistent cry to the world was one we hear again and again in Scripture. Do not be afraid. With that in mind, I think this gospel offers 3 important lessons that can lead us all, that can lead all of us Bartimaeuses to a place of grace. And they are all connected to that very idea. Do not be afraid. First, do not be afraid to trust in God's mercy. Bartimaeus wasn't, and he wasn't afraid to cry out to Jesus in his need, even when others told him to be quiet. His persistence was rewarded. Jesus heard him, noticed him, responded to him. And Jesus responded by telling his followers very simply, call him. Which leads to the second point. Do not be afraid of God's call. Do not be afraid to answer it, and be ready to risk. Bartimaeus didn't expect Christ to come to him. Instead, he went to Christ, and Bartimaeus went in his poverty, his frailty, his weakness, with all his handicaps and problems. It could not have been easy or comfortable for a man in Bartimaeus' state to leave the security of what he knew, pleading on the ground, to get up and, literally groping in the dark, find his way to Christ. But it's not easy or comfortable for any of us. It entails risk, vulnerability, humility. It means getting on our feet and making our way to where God wants us to be. It can mean leaving what we know and going to what we don't know. But that is what the journey of faith is all about. However, Bartimaeus wasn't alone. The gospel describes others who conveyed Christ's message to him and who probably helped bring him to Jesus. That too is an important part of this episode. We don't make the journey to Christ unaccompanied. The Christian community is a community. There are others around us who can help us stand and help show us the way. Thirdly, do not be afraid to answer the question Christ posed to Bartimaeus. The question our loving God asks all of us. What do you want me to do for you? If Christ asked us this question this morning, how would we answer? What would we say? What do you want me to do for you? Bartimaeus told Jesus plainly, Master, I want to see. Think about the implications of that, and you realize, at the end of the day, that is what it's all about for all of us. We want to see. We want clarity. We want light. We want hope. And that, most assuredly, is the gift that Christ offered Bartimaeus, the gift he holds out to each one of us. I'm reminded of the familiar scripture we hear during Advent. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. The light, as Bartimaeus discovered, is Christ. The story of Bartimaeus is our story, the story of beggars seeking mercy, of a blind human race trapped in the dark, yearning to see. It's the story of people who need a miracle. Christ is waiting to give us that miracle, if only we have faith. Rise, get up. The Lord is calling us. To a world of despair, he offers hope. To a world of confusion, he brings clarity. To a world of darkness, of sin and distraction and pain, Christ is our light. That is powerful.
Exactly
Very, very
right.
powerful.
That is very powerful. And if you are interested in reading more from Deacon Greg Kandra, then you need to go to the Deacon's Bench at patheos.com. That's patheos.com. I don't know if he has these on audio anywhere, but he usually puts them up at the Deacon's Bench, which is on the Catholic channel of Patheos. So he's another one we'll hopefully be bringing you from time to time, because that was a real different slant.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very good.
You know, being in New York, I would think that would give us a whole different.
Yes.
You see so much more in New York than you do in a lot of other places.
Yeah. Well, as far as beggars go,
True.
they
But
go to Italy sometime. Go to Rome.
True, from what I hear. But I think it's again it's that thing of we are all the same way. We are Bartimaeus.
Yes.
We are sitting there waiting for Jesus to come by. Are we willing to acknowledge him when he does come by? You know, and if we really need his help, are we willing to reach out?
Right.
And ask? And I think that's what the beauty of it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good. That's really good.
Well, see, we didn't do badly with our homilies.
Of course not. I have faith.
Oh, oh gee. You know what they say before. No, that's
I have faith.
And so do I. And I have faith that we'll move now on to our premier segment, other than the one we do with homilies.
Yeah.
The voice of the people and the voice of the wonderful Mandy Patinkin,
Yes, most definitely.
whom we all love,
Yes.
bringing us the voice of the people. And this week's voice of the people, you know, what happened was I was running behind, and I knew I hadn't thrown anything up, so I just. It was Thursday, I think it was either Thursday or Friday morning, I just started throwing things up like, okay, here's everything that I can think of, so we actually have a voice of the people. And boy, you did not disappoint, because, and this is the fun thing when I look at these statistics that tell me how many people are reached. when we're looking at 971 people reached,
Wow.
that means you've told your friends and they've told their friends and so on and so on and so on. And it's from our good friend of the podcast, Allison Gingras. She put up, in fact, she wrote this for newevangelizers.com. This is the apostolate arm of our friends Greg and Jennifer Willits. And she put this lovely article up, or we call them blog posts nowadays, where she talked about what she's been doing lately. And she's not only writing about it. When she goes and does this, she actually periscopes now.
Oh.
That I got her into periscoping in the first. And if you don't know what Periscope is, it's that lovely little app that I've told you all about, where you can live stream something, and it's only up for 24 hours, and then it does one of these. It self-destructs. And for those of you who don't know what that is and you're too young, I'm sorry. I'm not going to explain it. Ask your parents. But what she's been doing lately is she's been actually going outside of her house, and she lives near a busy intersection in Taunton, Massachusetts. And she's been going out and praying the rosary. Seriously, getting out there and with the beads in hand and just walking. And the article is called "The Rosary and Me. My Neighbors Think I'm Nuts." So I don't know too many people who decide to do 54-day novenas.
Yeah.
Rosary novenas. And but she says that, since she's been, she was doing it for specific reasons, family reasons mostly. And she even says that people have stopped and asked her what she's doing. I know on Periscope, because I've watched her a couple of times, people have actually asked her, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? She even had one the other day, and I happened to be there, that the person didn't believe in God at all.
Oh, wow.
I was trying to understand what this was all about and why would somebody do this. So she's gone out there encircling her house on the street, and she says that some of her prayers have been answered by doing this. So, and she's lost weight.
Well, there you go. Your prayers are answered and you lost weight. What else is there?
Okay.
Makes me want to go right out.
Yes.
And do that. But, she's it with, personal prayer, personal devotions. The word personal is there for a reason. And we have a lot of these things in the church, or that the church has made available to us. And we have to find what works for each of us. While I like walking, I'm not sure doing the rosary for me would work. However, I know me. Oh, and I forgot to take the phone out again. Yeah. Well, at least my husband is here today.
There you go.
So with any luck, he'll answer the phone. In the meantime, I press it to my leg.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he answered the phone.
Okay, he answered the phone.
I really have to put a sticky on that thing.
Yeah.
Or put a sticky on my computer screen.
Yeah.
Take the phone out of the room.
Well, can you mute it?
No, that's the problem.
Oh, okay.
I can mute it. When it rings, I can mute it. Okay?
But not beforehand.
But then if somebody leaves a message, it comes right out, and I can't mute it at all.
Oh, jeez.
So that's why it really needs to go in the other room.
Yeah.
Because these are all portable phones.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. So I think that it's a wonderful thing that Allison, has given this type of witness to people.
Yeah.
Because I really believe that we all have, our prayer lives can all go stale.
Well, I thought, too, the interesting thing was she said that at first the neighbors thought she was nuts. But then they would start calling her with prayer requests.
Figuring if someone's doing it, why not do it for me?
Yeah.
Get some benefit out of it, yeah.
Right.
Oh, good.
Right.
Why not? But I'm hoping that it inspires them to take up their, pick up their mat and do something.
Yeah.
Because that I believe is what's important. Allison, not that she wouldn't mind praying for anybody.
Right.
But I think it really needs to inspire us to find our, whether it's the rosary, whether it's liturgy, the hours, which is what I was getting to before the phone rang.
Yeah.
Well, she does talk about when she goes to adoration. She asks, "I'll be praying the next hour, or whatever. Anybody need any prayers? May I pray for you?"
Yeah, she will do that.
Mm.
And believe me, I've taken her up a few times.
Me too.
See, there you go. But it's that thing where for her, this is what's working.
Hey, that's wonderful.
I
think it's wonderful.
I think it's a great witness to the rest of us to go find out what can work for us.
Exactly.
So as you can tell by 971 shares, people are seeing that's almost 1,000 people that got reached. Okay, I think that's great. So the voice of the people definitely, again, has done a good job. Now I need that same voice of the people to tell us what we'd like to do for our 100th episode. So
yes, we need the voice of the people.
We need the voice of the people to tell us, and I may be putting that up as well too on on our Facebook page, saying, here's a few things. What would you like us to talk about? But here's a good, but this is time limited. So today is, when you get this on Monday, it is October 26th.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to put this out on Facebook as well and Twitter. I am crowdsourcing, what's called crowdsourcing a problem. Okay? This is where you ask your friends or the crowd to give you some advice.
Oh, crowd, C-R-O-W. Oh,
yeah.
I heard proud, P-R-O.
Oh, okay.
No,
that makes more sense.
Okay. Fine.
No, it's my ears. It has nothing to do with you. It's my ears. You know that.
Good. I am putting together a internet safety talk for adults about their kids, basically. And what I'd like to know from adults is what do you think right now is the most important thing I should counsel parents on concerning the internet? Okay, this is pretty open-ended, but I do know there are certain apps that I do know I want to bring up this time, especially the calculator app.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you've heard about this thing, the calculator app where it hides pictures from your parents.
Yeah.
And there are a few other things. So if you know anything out there, today's the 26th, got until the 28th. I've only going to have a short window because I have to present it on Thursday morning.
Oh.
Right. It's I just picked it up last week as a favor. So I'm going to be...
The most effective thing I can think of is a very low-tech solution, and that is parents be involved in what your children are doing online.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put the computer in their rooms. Put the computer in a public place in the house.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because, if you send them to their room, you have no idea what they're doing in there.
And anything is possible.
And anything is possible. That's right.
Well, that is part of what I told them last year, Linda.
Well,
was that you're not going to be the cool mom or dad who takes the phone away, who takes the iPad away, who takes but you're also going to save your child some grief.
That's right.
And
possibly some danger.
Right. Exactly. We do this every single year.
Yeah. Yeah.
For our parents.
And yet it's still in the news where young girls are
lured
in
out.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Because of the internet associations they're making.
And boys. And
yes, true. Yes.
And I really think, and this is my, if we're into that section again, into the internet, technology and evangelization, but if I've met people on the internet, okay?
Me too.
Right, all of us have, all right? But We developed our people skills face to face.
Yeah.
Because it's all we had when we were younger. All right? These kids don't
Yeah. Yeah.
have just that. They have both. They have the skills when you're face to face, and they have the skills with a screen in front of them.
Mm.
That's the problem.
Right.
And I'm not sure what the answer is, because trying to get them to use the same amount of judgment with a screen in front of you is not the same than if you're in the person's presence.
Yeah, it's true.
And all I can say is it's an intuition type of thing. Like, you know when somebody is near you and you don't trust them.
Yeah.
You get that feeling. It doesn't translate through a class.
No.
I really don't think it does. So how do you keep your children, how do you teach your children to, trust one set and have to kind of like rejigger it for the other? I don't know.
Well, for one thing, anything they feel like they have to keep a secret from you is probably not good.
Yeah, I'll agree there.
Yeah.
There
You
should
know,
be secrets
if
from the parents.
they're trying to meet people and they don't want you to know about it,
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not a good thing.
And the thing is it can happen in real, it can happen in real time or
Yes.
face to face as well.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
All these things are the same thing, yet the internet seems to enhance it.
Yes.
Or
Yes. Makes it easier. Yeah. Makes it easier.
It makes it easier for predators.
Right. Right. I watch my Law and Order. I watch my SVU.
I used to watch Dateline.
Whoa.
Chris Hansen.
Yes, Chris Hansen. That's right.
That's
You
my
know Chris
that's my
Hansen.
guilty little pleasure. I
Mhm.
love those crime dramas, man.
Oh yeah. But the thing is, so if there's anybody out there who can, send me some information in the next couple of days. This is kind of dated because I have to develop it, and I'm not the only one giving it. So I have to have it ready for consumption. So if you know of any crazy apps out there that I don't know about, a few, or if you have any tips for parents or things you've done yourself. I had one parent tell me once that they didn't believe any of this stuff until
Jeez.
one of their kids started saying, yes, I've been approached, and then they got it, that it was real.
Well, you see the things on Facebook all over the place with either teachers or parents trying to explain how fast it takes one post to go around the town, the state, the country, and beyond.
Yeah.
I'm teaching my class types of things. They'll have a sign explaining what they're trying to do, and it's a simple tool, but it's an easy tool to explain to kids that anything posted on Facebook, for example, is no longer yours. Your privacy on that one is gone.
Yeah.
That, you know what, Nancy, that's a very good, I'm typing that one up,
Mm-hmm.
because that is a very good point. I like that, because that's something that maybe parents will understand that, if they've ever seen the Facebook post.
Yeah. About how fast something can get around.
All right, because most parents are on Facebook.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them
And
are.
I'm wondering if kids have two. I'm not sure. I'm drawing a blank on two identities on Facebook. One that the parents can see, and one that is the real deal.
Oh.
I don't know.
Well, the whole thing here, and I had a little bit of a discussion because I've had it within my own circle, is when you let your kids under 13 have a Facebook account. I don't care if they're the most responsible child on the planet. Under 13 is no place for Facebook kids.
No.
Yeah, I just don't think so. And that becomes difficult. And I've seen it. And then if and it should be the parent that makes the Facebook account for the kid or with the kid, and the kid should be allowed.
That's what my daughter-in-law did.
Right, and they shouldn't be allowed to do anything else.
They had to be in high school, and the mother she set up the account, and she has full access to the account.
Oh yeah, right, that's another thing. Parents need to have full access to the account while the kid's still home, because you can't do anything when they go to college.
Yeah.
But you can while they're still in
While
your
they're still home, yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Kids hate it when I start talking to the parents about this stuff, but get over it.
That's right.
Give them 5 years, they'll understand.
So if you have anything for me, I would really appreciate it. You can put it up on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Monday Morning Catholic. You can send it to me at mondaymorningcatholic@gmail.com. I will take it. I can see what the difference is between our feedback and what I need for crowdsourcing.
Yes.
MondayMorningCatholic.net is the website, and of course our lovely voice feedback line 774-955-0659. I'm so sad Stephen didn't make it.
Yeah.
I know.
Ooh, yes, but anyway, hopefully he'll be with us next week. Of course, it's a solemnity, and we should get everybody here next week.
That's right. All the saints.
Maybe all the saints after the night of Halloween.
Oh yes.
You know.
Halloween has always been a big deal in my house.
I know. It's huge. I've always, here's my fantasy for Halloween. I have always wanted to ask about half a dozen people to come and play zombies in my yard. Wait. Play zombies in my yard. Just kind of like stand around.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden hit Thriller and everybody starts dancing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talk to my son.
I really should. I should.
They had a zombie parade in Boston this last couple of days, didn't
Well, for one thing, Tim knows the dance from
they?
Thriller.
So do I.
And so does Tyler. So
Wow. Because I could see us just kind of like,
they
hanging
could
around
do,
while the kids come, and all of a sudden you hit Thriller and all of them start going, I think it would be
do a real convincing thing.
that and the Time Warp from Rocky Horror.
Oh, I don't know Rocky Horror.
I know that.
I'm just, totally out of it when it comes to that.
Oh well. That's all. I've always wanted to do that for Halloween, just once in my neighborhood, because they come they bust them into my neighborhood.
Oh, I know. Same with our neighborhood.
They bust them into the
They
neighborhood.
come like they're thick as flies, and they come in clumps. There's like 20 kids on the step.
Oh yeah, we know. We know. All right. Well, we are at the end of our podcast, and not bad. We've kept to an hour.
Hey, we're good.
Yay! We like that. Good thing.
We're good.
Well, we got to almost everything we wanted to talk about, and that's always good. And this week, I would say, if you're feeling like Bartimaeus, then maybe it's time to get out your rosary, walk outside, and ask the Master if you can see, if he can help.
Throw away your cloak.
Yeah, throw away your cloak, and maybe you'll get a chance to see more clearly. So thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Linda. I'm Joanne Mercier. We hope to see you next week, God willing, for the Feast of All Saints. Thank you, and ciao for now.